Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasso and welcome to 10,000 and Below. This is where I'm going through the ratings on Board Game Geek, the largest board game database in the world, looking at the games that are ranked fairly low and telling you what I think about the ones that I know about and discovering new ones, along with you perhaps. We have gone through this 25 times thus far. We're now at 12,501, and the very first game is one I know and enjoy. I still have this game actually, or more specifically, my son has it, and that's Attacktix Battle Figure Game Marvel Superheroes. Now this is also, there's Marvel, there's Star Wars, and there's Transformers, and in fact the one I have the least of, unfortunately, is the Marvel one. And in fact, I only have a couple of these here. These are so much fun. All they are is just, they're toys essentially, and you pull them back, and then you hit each other with or you shoot things across the room at each other. Like I said, they're toys. They're silly toys, but man, they're fun to play with. And me and my son like shooting the little tokens at each other across the room. They're like having little dart guns almost. Boss Keto here. This one, all players are gorillas, but they're small and tough. We got to make Boss Keto happy. I really feel like I talked about this one before, and it must have just fallen down in the ratings since then. All right, Witching Hour. All right, so the Witching Hour here from Indie Boards and Cards. You got to make potions here with this game. So when did I review this one? I might not have actually. I'm not seeing. It says there's 4 reviews. I guess I never reviewed this one, but I gave it a 6, so I must have played it back in the day. Oh, yes, I played this, but I never reviewed it. Collecting different cards and using these cards in combinations, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was a little too take daddy for me, and there's a couple cards that I thought were overpowered. That's just my opinion on it, but I only played it one time, and so that one time was a ranking of 6. Ryu. This here is a game about dragons. It is super pretty. I remember this one distinctly, and yet it felt very random as you just move these wooden dragons around. This is a disappointing game. I remember this one because when I opened it up, the box, I was like, look at how awesome this looks. And it looks fantastic. Unfortunately, it's a very mediocre game. All right, let's drop down. Trivial Pursuit Star Wars, the Black Series Edition. That's very hoity-toity. Here's The Shining. This one's coming out this year, or has come out already. I have not played or reviewed this one. It's from Prospero Hall. I know someone on the Dice Tower, I think Brian Drake, reviewed it. It looks interesting. I know it's anathema. I'm not a fan of horror movies, so I'm not a fan of The Shining. I know a lot about it, but maybe I'll play it at some point. One Sign Plus Co. from 2003. It's a weird name. Ooh, I do like how that looks. An abstract game. Enclose empty space on the board. Each square enclosed by a played block counts as a point. I like how that sounds. That's a cool looking game. I would play this. It's kind of bland though, right? It's bland on the thing. I'll have to keep an eye for that next time I go to Essen. Mr. House. Mr. House is a very, very fine house. Nice board. Wait, I feel like I've seen this before. I have. We've gone over this before. This is from Grana Games. This was also on the list before. This game's just called Cats. If you're going to name yours something, don't call it Cats. All right, The Fall of Rome from 1973. There's another magazine game. This is from Strategy and Tactics. Wow. I'm going to assume that picture was not part of it. Wow, it's interesting to look at these games that are that old. So it's an older war game. It must not be too fondly liked again because 157 Wargamer ratings. Putting it down this low doesn't seem like it's that good. Chicky Boom! Sounds like a song sung in the 60s. Chicky Boom, boom, boom. This is from Asmodee Blue Orange Games, and the chickens are hanging out. So you have to catch them before the whole thing falls off. So it's a teeter-totter, and you're just pulling stuff off it. They almost look like pizzas there, don't they, with the birds? That looks like a fun game for little kids. I'd play this with my son. Chicky Boom. And then this one, Eschnapper. Or how do you say that? From Reinhard Stopp. So if you don't recognize his name, he has designed Havana, Edelstein and Reich. Basari is probably, the game Extreme. I guess he didn't do the game itself, or that one would have showed up here. The game face-to-face. I didn't know there was variants of the game. David and Goliath, though, is the game. That's a trick-taking game. That should not be ranked 2,352. It is way better than that. That's a travesty. But he's also designed a ton of great kids games, too. Anyhow, so this is a game where you discover, explore an Indian temple, try to find treasures within. I like this. Sounds confusing? It is. You must win auctions to get the stuff you need, to win more auctions and move in open niches, and collect treasures to score points to win the game. Okay. I'd give it a whirl. I do like that cover. That's a cool cover. Interesting. All right. Elemental Blast. Yeah, we'll take a look at that one real quick. Nope, looks boring. Jumping down here to Tricky Dreck. Oh, this is from Quali. Okay, so Quali makes some really cool stuff. This one's from 2009, and it looks like they're using these little, I'm assuming those are little glass figurines. And I say this because one of their games that Habitat, that they printed later on, had these little glass figurines in it. I don't know if I want to be pulling little glass figurines out of a bag. Oh. That's a terrible thing. Ted Osbach, who designed the game, he opened it up, found all these little broken pieces. Why? You guys get on my case for my component drops. All right, the Powerpuff Girls Mojo Jojo Attacks Townsville game. I'm sure Eric would like that one. Here's one just called Scan. It's a card game with a little knowledge. Can be a dangerous thing. Oh. I see Alex Randolph's name on here. The card deck is also called Indiscretion. It's a standard deck, but the back of each card is color-coded to reveal the suit of the card to all players. That's interesting. So I know what suits you have, but I don't know the numbers. That doesn't seem like it's a good thing. It seems like that's too much information. Then you can play all the games. I'd have to try it, but it seems like that's too much. All right, here we have Clue, the Second Crime Scene Edition, Mountain of Inferno, Pool Position, and Quiango. So let's take a look. Clue, Second Crime Scene Edition. This is traditional Clue board game with modernized graphics and a boardwalk beach scene. So there's a few extra things that this adds, but other than that, it looks like it's basically basic Clue with just another side of the board. Woo-hoo-hoo. Mountain of Inferno. Z-Man Games did this one? That is one weird cover. This looks like it should be in the Onirim universe. Ooh, that's not a good... That back... I wouldn't buy the game based on this one. It's just a card game. I might try it, but I wouldn't buy it based on that cover and look. Pool Position. This is from Thorsten Gimler. So Thorsten Gimler has done No Thanks. That's his most famous game. Aton, Odin's Ravens, 12 Thieves. Some pretty good games that he's done. This one here, you're trying to get your beach towels into positions by the pool. I believe we just talked about a game like that in our last episode of this. So I really like the... has a silly cartoony look to it, and the idea of getting these... This is one I would try. It's pretty low rated though, 99 though, but I do tend to enjoy his games. Quiango from Klaus Burmester. That designer, this is the only game he has done, an abstract two-player game that plays quickly and is explained even faster. Put your disc, try to get 3 discs in one color, 4 in a square, 5 in horizontal. All right, so you can just place your disc anywhere and you're trying to get them in multiple things. I feel like we've looked at this one before too. All right. Cinco. And I feel like we've looked at this one before too. Trying to get 5 in a row. And there's 90 fields. Yep, we saw that. And I said that was interesting last time. But it has dropped apparently since then. Hoarders. I know this game because we have quite a few of these games sitting around the studio. We got just a box of them, and yet I haven't played it yet. I should probably get around to playing it. I do like the graphic design of it. Let's see what else we got in here. Cluedo Shuffle. Oh, yeah, we'll come to that in a second. Cluedo Shuffle. This is like Clue, but it's a card game. It's the same as Clue Suspect, but comes in a plastic carrying case. Ugh. No one likes those plastic carrying cases. Or I don't. Oh, this is a sad one. Kingsport Festival, the card game. Now, Kingsport Festival, if you remember, is a board game that is very similar to Kingsburg, except it uses the Cthulhu horror theme and, unfortunately, bad graphic design and a little too much in the game. It's just inferior to Kingsburg, unfortunately. It's fine. It's a fine game. Kingsport, the card game, though, is just, it's so random and so much going on with dice and reading all these abilities and bad graphic design still. Unfortunately, this is one I cannot recommend. Jumping down to Little Italy. This is from 2007 from Reiner Knizia and Player Entertainment. Okay, I remember when this one came out, and I never had a chance to play this one. Driving your... Ooh, I like those vehicles. They're painted. Okay, never mind. Move you around, collect money from business building, but watch out for the heat. Okay, it sounds like a fun little simple game. Player Entertainment made many of those games. Pickpocket. We'll take a look at that one. And I also want to take a look here at Stake Your Claim. Another game from Reiner Knizia, and this is from Repos. That's a combo I did not know existed. All right, so this is from 2008. You select a card. You have to decide to leave the bar with the current earnings or turn a new card. So it's a push your luck style game. I'd give it a whirl. The artwork... I was about to say, why are those guys wearing sombreros? And I forgot. It's Repos production. Their thing was Belgians wearing sombreros. That's an interesting back to those cards. Not a lot of components in the game. I do like that though. See what I have. That's kind of cool. Stake Your Claim. This is from Wolfgang Kramer. Well, glad that we jumped in here. A Gold Rush theme game for children and adults. This one definitely looks like an old game though, doesn't it? That art. That looks like an ancient game. When did it come out? Stake Your Claim, 85. Well, there you go. All right, zooming down here, we Tekali Lee. And we'll also take a look here at Operators and Miskatonic School for Boys. Tekali Lee. This is from Toshiko Sato. This is from Japan brand. Has he designed anything else? Legendary Farce. Okay, I've seen that one. And Dice Age to Hunt. I've seen both those games. This is his third game. It's an anti-trick-taking game with a Cthulhu theme. So you don't want to take tricks in this style of game. Okay, that sounds like a fun one to play. Let's take a look at the cards. They're nice-looking cards. Kind of a very dysfunctional conglomeration there with the nice black and white drawings and then the Cthulhu stuff there. Operators. This is from Cockatay Games. You're in elite military teams. You got to take them out. Just a bunch of cards. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I don't see a board, though. Is it like a board you move around? Did this game ever come out? Why is there so few pictures of it? Well, that's unfortunate. Not enough information. Miskatonic School for Boys. So this here from Fun to 11. Now, Fun to 11 made Miskatonic School for Girls, which was a deck building game, and I did not like it at all. And it got pretty beat up. Miskatonic School for Boys is better. It's actually a deduction style game. You're trying to figure out which boy is possessed. This game was actually pitched to me as a Dice Tower Essential but I didn't put it in there. But I liked the game enough so that I hunted it down when it came out. And so there's different words you can't say based on if you're possessed or not. I think maybe they could have did a better job maybe on the design of this game, the graphic design. But overall, I thought it was a fun game. I gave it a 7. 4 Monkeys. And I gotta look at this Honey Wars because that's just a fun name. 4 Monkeys. Yeah, you're sending stuff to Mars. Monkeys to Mars. Various sets of color pictures are projected on the screen, and then the monkeys. Okay, looks a little abstract. Honey Wars. Victory never tasted so sweet. I don't know if this game is good or not. It looks like it might be just a take that. It's a take that card game? Boo. That's unfortunate. All right, let's keep going down and see what we can find here. Remember Gordon? 8-bit attack, blockout, Scallywag. We'll take a look at Scallywag. There's a hobby game with 1,001 treasures. We already looked at that one because I remember specifically talking about how the name was not 1001. It was 1,001 treasures. Anyway, Scallywag here. I gave this one a 6, and I reviewed it back in 2014, and I am not remembering anything about it. Trying to collect these cards, but I don't remember what for. It must be forgettable, unfortunately. A lot of 6s I give are games where I was like, it's okay. Nexus, Fairey Me, delicious. Ooh, I like how this one looks. 24 pieces. You put your piece on the board. A player must touch the same, but after that, you must teach one of the same color. So it's kind of like a Blocus type game. In fact, it just looks like reverse Blocus. Isn't this Blocus though? If you just reversed them? Probably not. It's really similar to Blocus. Even has the same colors as Blocus. And in fact, I'm going to go back and find it's made by the same company. Winning moves, okay. No reviews, nothing. Different to Blocus, says someone. All right. Same concept, different pieces. All right, that's what they said here. The components in this game do not work. Oh, that's not good if that's the case of it. Interesting. Fairey Me. Let's take a look at this one now. Fairey Me is Kenzer's and Company's actual miniature. Oh, I remember them talking about this in the comic. This is from Knights at the Dinner Table. I didn't know they had actually made an actual game of it where fairies went around. Is there a garden gnome in it? Yep, there it is. I remember distinctly when they talked about that in the comics. That's pretty funny. Doesn't seem like it's a very good game, though. Square shooters and the difference between women and men. All right. Square shooters, I remember when this came out, actually. This was Heartland Consumer Products. These guys really pushed it. I mean, every time I saw this guy, he was like, hey, you would not believe this. We put card stuff on dice. Like it was the most amazing idea. And they kept talking about that. And they just kept going on and on and on about it. I don't know that I ever played it. But I will never forget him telling me every time that they had put cards on dice. Difference between women and men. This is from Uwe Rosenberg. What? Did anyone know he made a game like this? Fun about stereotypes and truths. Oh yeah, we're going to play this one live on the Dice Tower. What is the most embarrassing for a man to buy? The most popular cigarettes for men. What food do men have stuck in their teeth after eating? Let's just go to the next game. Dayun de Grosse Carson Canal. I reviewed this just a couple years ago. That That's right. They have a high reputation in court, and you move down this track. It was kind of like a little bit of a racing game, but I found it to be too easy to follow what other people did. It was too... I didn't feel like there was a lot of strategy in it, which is why I got a 5. At least I remember that one. Cincinnati. Someone's just asking about games named after cities. Here's Cincinnati from Reinhard Stop, who has done Havana, and we're talking about him again. Roll combinations of dice. Looks like his version of Yahtzee. Looks like you can definitely play Liar's Dice, though, with this setup. Ooh. Well, now we found something interesting. Mission Command Air. Now, Mission Command Air was reinvent Screaming Eagles. So I played Screaming Eagles as a kid, and let's just take a look. If you don't remember what Screaming Eagles looked like, this one is ranked 7,620. That's weird that one's ranked higher, even though that's a cool cover. Man, I had that game as a kid. I love that game. I should have put that on my games that changed my life. I really like Screaming Eagles. They re-implemented, they redid the game because they did Mission Command Lair and C. C was the best of the games, but this one was good. I wonder if this one's not as good as the original one. I think it seemed like the board is pretty much, it seemed like the whole thing is pretty much the same. You just flew your plane around and around, tried to get behind the other person, and then roll dice and shoot them. That's all the game was. But as a kid, it was extremely exciting. I forgot about Screaming Eagles. And Mission Command Air, same thing. I mean, it's not a great game. I gave it a 6. It's a 6. But for kids, it's super fun. Zambezi, the expedition game. You're driving boats up, trying to avoid the different things. I remember this. I like how this one looks a lot. This one is from Burley Games. Now, Burley Games is best known for, well, you know what? I'm just going to go look at it rather than Kamisato, which is a fantastic game, or Take It Easy, also great games. This one's fine. It's a bit of a racing game. It's not an amazing game, but I did enjoy it for what it was. Well, that one has a cool looking cover. Oh, Pac-Man, the board game. We got to take a look at that one. Kapai. And then finally, Moops Monster Mash, which is the last one for today. All right, so Carnivalo. This one came out in 2018. Has a really cool board. I want to play this one. This looks interesting. I like the art style of it a lot. Cool. Yeah, I really like how this one looks. Pac-Man, the board game. Wow, that looks bad. How could this one be rated so high? I mean, that looks bad, even if you're a Pac-Man fan. Oh, that looks not good at all. A lot of rules, though. Kapai. Is this a roll and write? It is a roll and write game. That does not distinguish itself in any shape or form. It came out in 2019 now, so maybe this one just hasn't hit the big time yet. But you know, Eric has mentioned this in the past, and I agree with him. I do not understand all these games. They try to look the same. They try to put a couple dice in the front, and you can't remember which one's which. Maybe somebody reviewed it. A couple people, no one from the Dice Tower though. Who's the designer? Mads Flow. It's the only game he's designed. All right. And finally, Moops Monster Mash. It was the mash. It was the Monster Mash. This is from Steve Jackson, and it looks like it's a Munchkin game. Making weird new animals, a standalone game that can be combined with Munchkin. Well, there you go. And that is it for today, folks. Thanks so much for watching another in 10,000 and below. There might have been a few games you're like, why didn't he click on those and talk about those? Well, here's your chance. Mention it in the comments below. If you play Screaming Eagles, give me a holler in the comments too, because I know technically we looked at Mission Command Air, but the same game. Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vassell, and you've been watching 10,000 and Below on the Dice Tower.